Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Lightworker Secrets to Success with Adam, Pamela, Coletta, myself. And we did a healing for the collective last week. And so after our call last week, we were trying to figure out what to do for this call. And we were thinking about the things that were happening in the world and how some of the things are, some of those lower vibrational emotions are coming up for us to be healed. And so one of the things we're going to use Dr. Bradley Nelson's chart, emotion code chart today, to kind of go through some of the ones. And the ones that picked up for us today was pride, shame, and shock. So we're going to just kind of take a look at those and heal those for the collective. So we haven't really talked about how we're going to heal them, but we just came up with the trapped emotions, or the low vibrational emotions. Maybe talk a little bit about them, and because I can see these three emotions in several different areas of our life right now, and the way they're playing out. A lot of people are having a lot of pride, and it's not a good sense of pride, right? Right now we're acting a little prideful towards friends and family because we think our reality is maybe better than theirs, or we know more than them, or you know how that feels like when you're talking to people and it's like you just think you know more, so you're I thought I heard myself. Anyway, so being prideful, it's not always the best thing. And it's one of those lower vibrational. So being proud is more positive, right? But being prideful, it even talks about in the Bible not to be prideful, because it is one of those lower vibrational emotions. And then, did you guys want to talk about these at all? Or maybe talk about how we want to release them, or what are your guys' thoughts?
Good question. I don't know. I don't know, for me, out of all of them, I mean, I understand the whole pride thing, how it could be. But when I'm proud of something, like, I feel very energized, right? Like, I know, like, I'm proud to be a Canadian, for example, right? That doesn't feel like a lower vibrational thing for me, but I also understand how it could be. And maybe some people don't understand that, right? And so, or they overexert the pride, right? And maybe that's where it starts to become lower vibrational, is that, right? So I don't know if I fully understand that one. Shame, I totally.
Well, I'm gonna read. I can read the definitions, and so that way it becomes a little bit more clear for us and for everybody. Do you want me to do that now?
Sure. Yeah. Do that now.
Yeah.
Okay. So for pride, some people, like when I do sessions, I'm like, oh, you have this trapped emotion of pride, and they're like, well, no, I don't. Or, they argue, and I'm like, well, let's see what your definition is. I always say, what's your definition? Because it may be different. So for this one is an overly high esteeming of oneself for some real or imagined merit or superiority. So feeling like you're above others. So that's kind of a bad feeling. Vanity, an excessive desire to be noticed, praised, or approved, feeling better than others, haughty, not teachable, has to be right, expects more credit than earned, or treats others with disdain or contempt. So it says you can have, having a healthy amount of pride, self-respect, or self-esteem is a good thing. So that kind of what you were saying. And this type of pride usually doesn't show up as a trapped emotion. So, but it could come up if your healthy pride was injured in some way along your journey. So just this is more of like sense of like, well, I'm better than you, so you have to listen to me, or my way is the right way, and I'm not going to listen to you because I'm not teachable, or I'm not open to listening to your side of how you came to that conclusion.
It's kind of like the what brings me to mind is like the my way or the highway type
person,
Mm-hmm.
right? That
Mhm.
I can remember my dad used to say, that his belief was that he was never wrong. He thought he was once, but he was mistaken. That was his favorite saying. You know,
My dad says
um,
that too. That's funny.
but yeah, I agree with you. It's that sense of being better than,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe like the narcissistic tendencies.
Hmm.
And it's a way of building like a wall between people and
Mhm.
losing connection too,
Yeah.
is the way I'm seeing it, right? Because if
Mhm.
you're like, oh, my way is the best way and I'm the best, really what that is a protection so that you can't connect to someone. So I
Mhm.
see it.
Yeah.
So it could
Yeah,
even
that's
be a
good.
defense mechanism, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I've done that before. Like when I was younger, I was right about everything. Like growing up, it's funny. Like when I was like a teenager, I was just always right. And that was like, I'm like, oh my gosh, everyone sucks and I'm awesome, and it was really just because I was scared, like I didn't want people to find out, um, that like some of the things that happened in my childhood, some of the stuff I couldn't talk about, like my mom was super mean, so I didn't want people to really like know like how my mom was and things like that. And so it was just a way of protecting myself. And the same thing with the other two, like a lot of shame. I think they kind of go hand in hand because I was so ashamed of maybe my mom's right, maybe I am the terrible person. So to protect myself, I'm gonna act like I'm like super awesome and great and wonderful. And yeah, so and what's the last one? It's pride,
It
shame,
was
and
shock.
shock.
I'll give the definition of shame. So a feeling of being wrong, defective, or disreputable. The painful feeling of having done or experienced something dishonorable, improper, or foolish. Disgrace, humiliation, a cause for regret. This is the lowest vibration of all the emotions. It leads to guilt, depression, and even suicide. So I feel like that one was like so important right now with everything going on, and we're having to wear the mask. I feel shameful when I wear the mask. I don't know about you guys, but I feel so ashamed when I go into the store and I'm like, I gotta wear this mask, and it's such a like huge trigger for me. Um, so this one is the lowest vibration of all the emotions. So I think for us to be able to heal that for the collective would be really powerful.
I agree. Especially shame also if is also being caused, it causes confusion, right? And so when you brought up the mask, a lot of people, they're doing it because they feel like they have to, but there's that sense of confusion, and it's like you know putting people in a place of being less than, right? So that really plays
Yeah.
with their psyche.
Mm-hmm. Well, because the prideful people are telling us that we have to do it. The people that think they know more, you know, they are better than, and they know everything. To tell us what we need to be doing in our own lives. The last one was shock. And that definition is a sudden or violent disturbance of the emotions or sensibilities, extreme surprise, to feel traumatized or stunned. I think as time in the next couple of weeks, I think we may have the opportunity to feel some of the shockwave of maybe some things that might be coming out, and um, so I think we want to kind of get ahead of things before it may be too overwhelming or too overbearing uh, for us to accept.
I don't understand how that one is like that. Like I don't understand how shock would be a low level vibration. Like I'm not understanding that one at all.
Well, so like for instance, if you got bad news, it'd be a shock to your system, right? So if you found out somebody passed away, you'd be like, oh my gosh, but it's a shock to your system. So if you find out, bad news, or um if there's an event around you that you witness and it's shocking to you, I mean, it's a shock to your whole system. It's more of I feel like it's more of a negative vibration that goes through your entire body when that happens, and sometimes you don't release it.
Okay, fair enough.
Or it's go ahead, Colette.
I was gonna think, if you think about it, like what happens when your body is traumatized, it goes into shock, right? If you get shot, if something happens to you, you go into shock where you don't, like everything's distorted, you don't really feel anything, you can't take in new memories, and then you go into like a PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. So I think that's probably what they mean.
Got it.
And it also connected with the horror, right? A lot of times shock is, when you look at some of the definitions, it's the horror of something happening.
Okay.
Because again, it affects, like Colette said, the PTSD that affects your psyche.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And everyone has different tolerance levels for these things, right? So some people have different thresholds as well. So some people can handle a lot before their system will go into shock. And some people, it's some little thing. And the example that I always use is a little kid getting lost in the grocery store. To that little kid, that's traumatizing. That's a big deal, you know, and obviously like to the mom, it's like, you're fine. You know, I was like, you know, just around the corner, but to that little kid, it was a big deal. And that can get trapped inside as this like traumatic event. You start worrying about like getting lost or abandoned and things like that. And so for all of these things, something that might be shocking or shameful or prideful for one person could be totally different for somebody else. And so I think it's good to look at all of these things, because I mean, how many times are we shamed as children, right? Shame is used to control us. It's like, oh, you know better than that. Or how could you do that? You know, this like, it's like almost, for me, it was almost constant shame from like everybody, you know, like, oh, you didn't do this well enough. Just like constantly bombarded with shame in school from your parents as a means to control you. And so it's going to be really interesting to see what happens when we clear this.
Well, and you think too about, I'm sorry, Amanda.
It's okay. Go ahead.
Look at the cultures who use as part of their culture shunning, which is the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's like taking that shaming and going a step further. So you don't look at the person, you don't talk to the person, some cultures don't even say their name. They just cease to exist, even though they may live in the same community, the same whatever, but they're just totally ostracized.
I was just thinking in terms of shame and some things that might be coming out. You know, there's some people that have done a lot of things in behind the scenes, and these are people that we looked up to, or you know, and having that shame, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I, you know, went to that concert, or I cannot believe I donated to their, you know, their organization. You know, there could be some shame around that as well, because you're sucked into it. So
I can't believe I
was thinking of it that
JB.
way.
I can't believe I voted for JB.
Yeah, can't believe I voted for JB. I mean, you know, yeah, and I think that might come out. Buyer's remorse, voter's remorse, and, you know, and that could happen, you know, pretty quickly. And we're not here to say right or wrong, but we're just gonna try to soften the blow a little bit, no matter what that blow is. But
right. And I think the other thing that we have been, as a culture, as a society, worldwide, have been so desensitized to things. Because I'm the oldest one in the group right now, because since Rebecca's not here right now. So Rebecca and I were talking the other day about, like, when we were growing up, the only kind of medication you saw on TV was Pepto-Bismol. You didn't see any kind of drugs. You didn't see anything about sex. It just wasn't. I mean, I remember where the TV show I Dream of Jeannie, she couldn't even show her belly button. Right. And Cher, it was the same thing. She couldn't show her in some of the costumes that she, you know. And so you go from that, which was 60-ish, move forward. And it's like, even the
60 years.
commercials now, are show so many things that we wouldn't have ever seen, much less on
Well,
TV. So
I
there's so
mean,
much that desensitization.
even like my clients watch TV, and if they're watching, I'm helping them or whatever, and I'm glancing at the TV, but I don't have cable at my house. And just the game show, like they're watching a game show, like the game show people, like they're watching, I don't know what it was called, but it was like oh, like you have to guess the music by the tone. Remember that old game
Mhm.
show way back in the days, like name that tune? I think it was similar to that. It could be the same name. I'm not exactly sure. But the woman, like her outfit was so revealing, like it went way like down. And it's like, why do you have to have that even on? Like it just doesn't make sense to me. Like you could still be covered and still look just as beautiful. You don't have to have everything just out there for everyone to see. So I mean, and we have been desensitized because like the Oscars, the Grammys, the the Emmys or whatever they're called, in their dresses. And then all of our children, they want to dress like those people too. And when we're saying no, they said, well, aren't I pretty enough? Can't, I would look pretty like that. You just said, oh, she's so beautiful in that dress, So it's all about the messages that they're subliminally projecting out onto us and to our children as well. Makes a big difference. And then how we view ourselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Yeah. So how do we want to release everything?
I don't know. Do we want to do it like we did last week?
I'm getting that. Does everybody have a pendulum? Colette, do you have a pendulum? Because I'm getting that together. We should douse it out for the collective.
I do. I'm going to grab mine. Hold on.
Okay. All right. That way we can all use it together. We'll create an energy vortex with our pendulum or our to douse it out. So we're going to douse out pride. We're not dousing out shame.
Do you want to explain what we're doing so people know?
Yeah. So we're all together. We're going to create an energy vortex. So that way, the energy has a way to just, it's kind of like a funnel or like a tornado, a tunnel, whatever you want to call it. And that we'll just kind of pick it up and sweep it out as we create this energy vortex with our pendulum. So we just all say the intention that we are going to release the negative emotion of pride for the collective. And if you're watching this, you guys could be yawning too, because we're all together. So once mine gets going, it really gets going. So this is for the whole collective. The collective means everybody on earth and beyond. So anybody that has this negative emotion of pride.
And it's like for me, it's really interesting because when my no on this pendulum is back and forth, and my yes is counterclockwise. But when it's dousing out something in a healing, it actually goes clockwise.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah, mine when it's dousing out, mine goes counterclockwise.
Mine is the same way for yes.
Yeah, mine too. Yeah. Counterclockwise?
Mine just goes back and forth.
Oh, for yes, it does?
Like side to side, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because this when you have your own pendulum and your own energy, all your yeses and nos they're all going to be different. And like Pamela says, she has different pendulums, and each one will give her a different answer. So if you do have a pendulum, don't just assume because mine's swinging that yours should be swinging, or you're not doing something right because of that. Each pendulum's it has its own energy.
And there are some people who say that you actually can train it to how you want it to be. Mm-hmm. But I've always just let mine tell me what it is for that one, because like you said, I've got several. because I feel like with this stone, whatever stone I'm using, that has a lot to do with it as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, because this one's a jasper pendulum, the stone is
Okay.
jasper.
Mine's soda light. That's a huge energy shift.
I actually had one that was a tiger eye, and it actually broke in the process of me doing some healing.
Crazy.
Yeah,
Oh wow. So it was a lot of energy going through there.
yeah, it actually shattered the tiger eye.
Wow.
Mine's still moving.
Mine's done.
Mine is too.
Mine just ended.
Yours is done now?
Yeah.
Oh, Colette. Oh, hers is still moving a tiny bit.
Yeah.
I think my internet unstable, you guys, because you guys keep freezing up on my end.
A little bit. You're a little
I
frozen.
can hear you, but your
Is it
picture is
unstable?
frozen.
Oh,
Okay, so mine's done.
There you are. You're back, Amanda.
sorry guys. My internet's a little unstable right now. Mine's almost done. It's just winding down.
Ooh. Ooh.
Yeah. Lots of energy shifting, which is really great.
Mhm. I'm picking up a headache now, though.
Uh-oh. Sorry.
Who does it belong to?
That's what I'm checking. Okay. I'm getting. I have a present here. Presents here.
Okay.
A present from a present.
Yeah.
That's a headache. That doesn't sound like a good present.
Okay, but it's not a relative of mine.
Okay. Mine is done. Can you figure out who it is, Pamela?
I'm looking.
Is it for me?
No. I don't think it's from any of us.
Well, when I asked, I went around and asked who it's for. I got a no for everybody, but when I asked, is it for me? I got a yes. So maybe
So it's not related to any of us, though. What I'm not getting it. It's being a relative of any of ours.
can you see if it was a client of mine?
I get a yes.
Can you ask if it's Betty?
Yes.
Thank you, Betty, for coming to visit me. I miss her so much. And she's we'd have really long conversations and long talks about metaphysicals. And when she passed away, she literally passed away. Well, she had been sick for a little while with her heart, and they wouldn't do heart surgery or anything. They're just like, you're 94, you're going to pass. And so she accepted it. And she was in the hospital, and we went and visited her. I took my girls, and that was actually the last time I got to see her. She was waiting for her niece was there, and she was waiting for her two nephews to come from New York. And her one nephew came, and then she went to like this transitional unit rehab. And I hadn't talked to her, but the other caregivers were keeping me like in up to date what was going on. And as soon as her last nephew showed up, she died that day. Like she was just literally waiting for him. And they said, we don't even know how you're alive. Like you should have been dead, like, a long time ago. And she literally waited until her nephew got there, which was like, it was like a week or two later. And I was like, oh my gosh, the doctors are saying she's not going to make it. And we don't even know how she's going to do it, but she did it. And she literally died on April 1st, which is April Fool's Day. And I said, if there's going to be any day that she's going to pass away, it would have been April Fool's Day, because she would have just thought that was so funny. Like, you know, so I get that she has a message. I don't really know what it could be. She had a pretty strong personality.
I'm just kidding.
So-
She's just here just to say hello and let you know she's around.
Well, I love that, because I think about her a lot. I think about her often, so I appreciate that. All right. Well, maybe she's just here for the fun. Okay.
Just like everyone else, right? Yes.
Just like
Here to
everybody
party.
else. We're all here.
Here for the party, the popcorn, and the movie.
Yeah. But she's telling me that she would have voted for Joe Biden if she was alive. I just asked her. She said yes. She said she would have. She was like, yeah, I would have. She didn't. I don't think she liked Trump that much. Okay. So let's go to shame. We're not going to douse this out. Colette, can you do this one? I'm getting that you, out of all of us, have to release the shame.
Yeah, I can do a few things, and then maybe we can all just kind of do our own, because shame's such a big one too.
Yeah.
That I feel like I can do, because I'm gonna destroy and create all the distractor implants. So in Access Consciousness, shame, guilt, anger, sadness, like most of the emotions are actually distractor implants. And what that means, it's something that somebody gave you, right? If you're implanted with something, it's because someone else told you, hey, you should be ashamed of this, or you should have shame around this, or, great job, you're amazing. Or like, this is what you should be scared of. So for most things, most of our emotions, they come from other people. So they're called implants and distractor implants, because the best way to have awareness and consciousness is to know something, be something, receive something, or perceive something. And so, you're naturally being something if you're perceiving like the energy, or you're perceiving what's going on. You're receiving, you can receive information, things like that. Anyway, so that's in Access Consciousness how we get awareness. So all of these lower emotions are distractor implants. So what would it take to destroy and create all the implants, explants, Mobius strips, biomimetic mimicry, positional heat pads, everything under that, everything under that, everything under that, and everything under that, holding all of that into place. And anything and everything that doesn't allow that, we destroy and create at all times, a godzillion, right and wrong, good and bad, POD and POC, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. Oh, wow, there's a lot of energy on that. Whew. I'm going to repeat that a few times because, whew, feeling that one. Wow, guys. I'm glad that you're watching this, if you're watching this, because, man. All right, what would it take to destroy and create all of the implants, explants, Mobius strips, positional heat pads, and this is all short speak. Implants, explants, Mobius strips, positional heat pads, biomimetic mimicry, everything under that, everything under that, and everything under that, holding all of that into place. Anything and everything that doesn't allow that, destroying and create at all times, a godzillion, right and wrong, good and bad, POD and POC, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. And again, all you have to do is say yes, like as I'm asking, because I can't do anything for you. You have to agree to it. So one more time, what would it take to destroy and uncreate all the implants, explants, Mobius strips, biomimetic mimicry, positional heat pads, everything under that, everything underneath that, everything underneath that, holding all of that into place. Anything and everything that doesn't allow that, destroy and create at all times, a godzillion, right and wrong, good and bad. Unpack all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. Man, and then we'll do whose lies, what lies, and how many lies are you using to create the pride, shame, and shock you are choosing. everything that is. Will use start and credit all times, a godzillion, right and wrong, good and bad, pun puck, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Whew. Whew. Whose lies, what lies, and how many lies are you using to create the pride, shame, and shock you are choosing? Everything that is and everything that brings up, destroy and create it all. Times the godzillion, right and wrong, good and bad, pun puck, all night, shorts, boys and beyond. Whew. Whew. And you can even write those down. So these are those are 2 clearings that I use a lot when I'm running people's bars. So when I'm holding people's bars points, I'll ask questions around those things. So you can write them down and just ask yourself those questions a few times a day to get even, because it's layers, you want to get to the bottom. And yeah.
So what would you have us write down, Colette?
Well, it's kind of a lot. So I would just say,
I know. I have a couple, but I'm like, it was a lot.
I just rewind it and listen to it, and then you can write it down as you listen to the replay.
Good idea.
Is what I recommend. But I'll say each one more time, just because there is so much energy around both of them. So the first one, and I might be saying it different each time too, because yeah,
that's okay.
Okay, so what would it take to destroy and create all the implants, explants, Mobius strips, biomimetic mimicry, positional heat pads, everything under that, everything underneath that, everything underneath that, and everything holding any and all of that into place? Anything that doesn't allow that, destroy and create at all times, a godzillion, right and wrong, good and bad, pun puck, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. And we can do some threes. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And we can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Whew. Whew. So in Access, we also have numbers, and they all mean different things. So don't worry if you have no clue what I'm saying or what I'm doing. Just know that it works. And if you say yes, you'll get the clearing.
Gosh. Well, that was amazing. I think I yawned through it all. Lots of energy.
I'm at it. There's a lot of energy. So it'll be clearing for a while because there's just so much right now.
Make sure you're if anyone's watching, please drink a lot of water while you are listening to us, because we are literally healing for the collective, and that's a lot of energy going through all of us and going through all of you. So drink a lot of water so you don't get dehydrated.
Definitely.
And you can also, am I freezing up again, guys?
No, you're good.
Okay,
You're good.
Am I freezing up?
No, you're good.
Oh, I am.
No,
These
you're
are all
good.
frozen on my end. The other thing too is in Access Consciousness, it tells you to have a little sugar and a little salt. So that's my favorite part about that. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, Colette. I really appreciate that. So let's see what we're gonna do with the shock. So with the shock, it's wanting to be doused out again. So can we all just get our pendulums, and we'll douse it out. So, oh gosh, let's say the intention that we're going to release this negative shock, and let's after we do this, Pamela, let's download people with the ability to accept maybe shocking news. We can accept it with ease and grace, or something like that.
Okay.
So it's not so tough. Does that sound good?
Yep.
All right. So we're just releasing. Yeah, we're releasing shock for all a collective and beyond. So we're creating this energy vortex, so that what we're doing is we're transmuting that negative energy into we're transmuting it to a neutralized energy. As I'm dousing out the shock, I'm sending everybody unconditional love to their heart chakra.
Lots of energy shifts.
They're definitely going to need a lot of love.
All right. Mine just ended.
Yep, mine's ended.
Mine's going a little bit. Slowing down. Oh gosh. These are such big, big yawns. They're not just little tiny ones. They're huge. They like come from like the center of my belly and come like all the way up.
I just saw
I don't know about you guys, but I feel so. Huh? You saw
I just saw a couple orbs floating around me.
Oh.
There was another one. Did you guys see them? Can you see them or no?
I don't know. I don't see them, but you have the screen, so I don't know if that blocks it from us or.
You just get to see all the angels, Adam. You get to see all of them.
I know he gets to see them all the time.
That's how my friend saw entities. Like when she saw spirits, a lot of times they were little orbs.
Mm-hmm. I was gonna say, I don't know about you guys, but I feel so like just peaceful and I feel like a sense of calmness. How are you guys feeling? Yeah.
I still feel a lot of energy moving, but feels good.
Mm-hmm.
It's still a full moon too, so there's a lot of energy from that too.
Right. Yeah, I'm gonna do a meditation after this.
Yeah, we have a whole video about like full moon rituals and stuff. So if you're feeling a lot of energy after this video, definitely recommend checking back on some of our past full moon or new moon ones, but especially the full moon ones on things you can do tonight or, the next couple days.
Yeah, good idea. All right, perfect. So we got that done. So Pamela, do you think that's a good idea to
Sure.
download us with, and you just tell us what you think is best?
Yeah, I'll do the downloads, and then so if you're watching this later on, or if you're watching this now, you have to say yes out loud in order to get this download, and that's basically letting your subconscious know that you're accepting this into your awareness, because it's kind of like a code that you have to say yes or mine's the same way. You have to. I don't just do it for you. You have to give permission for the changes to take place. So what we're going to download you is from Divine's definition of shock, and then also the ability to be the observer without experiencing it. So like that, you're that third party, not the first hand experience. And then just downloading us with the ability to just be aware, but not be impacted by it. So anything that we get would just be an awareness, and that we can move through that with grace and ease, and without the negative impacts to us.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
And then I want to also add to that the forgiveness for the time that when you get something that's shocking news that comes to you, that automatic tendency that we have as human beings to feel guilty. So just want to remove the free flowing memories of the original event that would create that in us, that pattern, and just do some forgiveness for us around that. Because when things happen, we're not always to blame. We're only to blame if we actually did something intentionally to cause it. Otherwise, it's not our fault. So
You
just
mean
remove
everything's
that.
not my fault, Pamela?
No, it's not.
Oh, okay, that's good to know. Then yes,
No.
please.
Yes, please, Pamela. Thank you.
Yes.
Mhm. That was a big shift. My eyes are starting to water now. How are you guys feeling?
I'm feeling good.
Like Amanda says,
feeling
drink
really
lots of
good.
water.
Yeah. Yeah. And be gentle with yourself this weekend. Do a lot of self care.
There. Like you're screaming. The shock.
The shock. I'm like, oh gosh, thank goodness we just released that from them. I got 2 grand boys over here. One is just a little over 2. And the other one is about 18 or 19 months. And so they scream all day long. Ah! If not screaming, it's like, what are they getting into?
Right? When they're quiet, you know you didn't check on them.
I know, like, I'm like, where are they? Pamela and I were doing our card reading, and I look over and Gianni's like in the windowsill standing, and I'm like, hold on, please. I'm like, somebody get the baby. He has like no fear. He doesn't care how high he is. Like he's a climber. He climbs on everything. He does not care. His favorite spot in my house is on top of the dining room table. And I'm like, get down. And he's like, no. I'm like, you need to get down. He loves it up there. Maybe he's going to be a fireman. Climb all those tall buildings and save people. So well, that was wonderful. I loved all that. That was really, really great. And I really like, how did you guys like that? Did you guys like the way that kind of went tonight? And maybe we can do more of those for the future?
Yeah, let us know, like in the comments below, or send us a message. So, because we have a lot, Amanda has a ton of these beliefs that we can clear for people. And so if there's an emotion coming up for you that you'd like us to clear, let us know.
For sure.
You know, let us know.
We have, trapped emotions or traumas or core negative beliefs or any of those things that may be coming up for you, you can let us know. And if it's coming up for you, then it's probably coming up for a lot of other people as well. So don't ever feel embarrassed or, to not reach out to us, because we are willing. That's why we come here, to help you guys every week.
Right. And a lot of the things, like you talk about the tribe emotions, when I do it for a theta perspective, there are certain organs that we hold these emotions in.
Yeah.
So, like for example, shame, it can affect your lower back.
Okay.
It can have in your lungs.
Yeah. Your lungs.
You know, so there's a lot of things that it can be part of that you may not even be aware of, and you're having these, you know, you're having backaches, you're having, you know, having difficulty breathing,
Yeah.
and a lot of times it's connected to, and they're not always your emotions, right? Sometimes it's something that's in your DNA, or it's in your genetics from your family. So
Yeah.
always a good thing to have it cleared.
Yeah.
I'm still yawning. Must have been a good one, right?
Me too. Gosh.
Yep.
I've been yawning for the last 2 hours now. But you know, it's so funny because we get tired while we're doing this, but as soon as we're off, then we get like energized to do more. So,
Yep.
because we're making space for new stuff, and because we're in that full moon of Leo, this is a time for creativity and creation. So, do you know more about that, Colette, about the full moon in Leo?
I've been so busy. I haven't even looked at
I know.
the
Me
moon.
either.
I wouldn't, if I didn't look outside and see it, I probably wouldn't even know it was the
I
full.
know.
But yeah, I mean, I feel it. I feel the energy of it, but no, I
Mhm.
haven't like read about it yet.
Okay. Well, I think I'm going to do that tonight, and then I'm going to do a meditation as well. So a full moon meditation, getting into my womb space and getting into that creation mode, because this is the time right now to do that. So I'll forward you guys the little meditation I'm going to do. I was going to do it earlier, but I didn't get a chance. So I'll do that shortly. So be on the lookout for that in our group chat.
Yay! Thank you.
Welcome. Well, thank you guys all so much. Thank you everybody for joining us tonight. I hope you enjoyed it. We can't wait until next week when we're doing some more healing. Next Monday, I'm hoping, I just got a Facebook friend request from a guy, and I always kind of check people out before I accept them. And I had 2 mutual friends, and they were kind of healer friends. So I thought, oh, okay, cool. So I checked out his page, liked what I saw a couple. He has a YouTube channel himself, and he taught himself Reiki, and he taught himself sound bowl, like a bunch of stuff. So he's a younger guy. So I reached out to him and asked him if we could interview him, and he is excited. So I just have to confirm with him. So we may have him on the schedule for Monday.
Yeah, I've reached out to
So
someone that I haven't heard back yet who does he's an animal psychic.
Oh, wow.
He's a good friend of mine. So I'm hoping that I will be able to connect with him and get him in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let me know, because that sounds really cool. Animal psychics.
Yes.
Lots of cool stuff coming up. Nice.
You could read Bella's mind, Adam. What are you thinking in there? Just
give me treats. Give me treats.
Treats and catnip.
No, she doesn't really like catnip or any kind of even meat food either. It's kind of weird. Like even fish, she just
doesn't
turned
like
away at fish.
Has she always been like that, or she just recently?
Yeah, always been like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, exciting. Okay. Well, thank you guys. Like and subscribe, and hit the bell so that you can be notified when we go live.
All right.
Thank you guys.
Take
Have a great
care.
weekend.